progress as a country on this, and the last thing we should do is retrograde and again put race or sex as the first determinant as to whether you get hired or get a promotion or those kinds of, or get grants or contracts from the federal government.
So, what are the prospects of this passing? What kind of support do you think it has? When do you think we'll actually see this come up for vote?
Sure, yeah, it's passed out of the Oversight Committee, so it could be headed to the floor. The likelihood with everything that needs to be done between now and the end of term, very likely that we'll
somebody got killed up here.
I will say the Senate co-lead on this is J.D. Vance, a gentleman you may have heard of. And so it's certainly a priority at this administration.
Yep, that's usually what that means.
That this
we got
there'll be a lot of
alive there at that corner.
But one of the things, of course, my big concern as we go through into the next term is that Congress has got to codify a lot of what President Trump does. Otherwise, we'll have a bubble of 4 great years, and then potentially, depending on who gets elected, these things could retrograde into the morass we've seen. So Congress is going to have to step up on these issues as well and make sure that we're coming behind the president and putting these things into statute.
I always like these things because you got to get people on the record to see who's going to vote against this, because it's really good primary fodder and general election fodder for future elections, because this stuff is automatic. This is one where eventually we're going to come to our senses here, and we're going to. The very few issues where I'm crystal clear that we're going to come to our senses eventually. This is one of them. We're not going to do the DEI stuff for life, and we're doing this now. And it's just important for people to get on the record who are involved in this fad that this is the way to go through life in America. This is not America, it's all anti-American, the DEI stuff. And we're going to get rid of it. I have a question. How is it even legal to do it? It just seems like racism. Reversal of racism, it used to be called, to have all the DEI stuff.
Yeah, that's a very good question. Most of us would say this is clearly not legal. If anything, the dismantle DEI Civil Rights Act is making sure that we're all being judged equally when it comes to hiring and firing and all those different kinds of things. But case in point, one of the big issues, whether it's DEI or many other things we've seen through the Biden administration when it comes to securing our border or many other issues, the question's been, well, how are they getting away with this? Isn't this legal? You talk to voters back home, and those investigations over to a nonpartisan DOJ. But we know that the DOJ has been not only good on the gig as far as kind of turning the blind eye to the illegality, but they've been helping advance these sort of things and
helping hurricane victims with Trump signs in their yard, which is shocking that you would admit this. But how widespread is the institutional rot, and what's the path to clean it up?
Case in point, the day before our dismantle DEI marked up in the Oversight Committee, we had a hearing on FEMA in that specific situation where people with Trump signs in their yard were being overlooked in the FEMA recovery process. And it's just, you think, how do you get to that point? And of course, the administrator sits there in our committee hearing and tells us the same thing I've heard from a number of different agencies based on whatever the issue was of the day. Whenever we see bring up malfeasance or bad practice, we're like, well, it's not the policy manual. And it's like, well, we know the policy manual is there to cover your rear, so to speak, and people will point to that, but yet the culture of the organization, like, how do you get to the point where this is even thought, even remotely, by any employee to be permissible? Well, you look at their strategic plan at FEMA, and they are implementing DEI. One of their main objectives is to disperse aid according to DEI principles. And so you are already asking your employees to make these sort of judgment values based on, the DEI determinants, and it's only a half step past that to add a political spectrum to it. And so, again, getting rid of this, rooting it out, this ideology out of our federal government is exactly where the American people want to go. They want to know that that justice is blind, that they're going to get fair treatment from their government, and that's a process. Of course, we have had corrupt people in government, so it's never been perfect, but
So, Congressman, if you want people in the audience to get involved, what should they do?
Well, you can definitely follow us. I'll retweet or re-X the information out there. Contact your rep.
We're still calling it,
you can.
right? We're calling it.
I guess. Is that okay?
I don't know. I don't know, Moscow. I got to reach out to him, see if he might call. Okay, I want to bounce two other ones by you while we have you on the line. Read a report over Breitbart over the weekend. Republicans stepping up to support a Texas law protecting children from internet pornography is health dangerous. Internet porn is completely rewiring the brains of human beings, and we have no idea of how widespread the effects are. It's just the key in Charlotte. And I'll tell you, I've got 4 kids, and all of them are pre-internet age, but we're getting close with the eldest. And this is my nightmare, that how much of this filth is out there, and what do we do here? How do we protect our kids from this in our society right now?
Well, that's a very good question. One of the things that I've always been oddly curious of, why aren't phone companies creating a kid version of a phone? I think an iKid phone would sell wonders, but yet they don't. But you have these big tech. They want our kids, and that's why even with some of the transgender ideology stuff you see going after, it's meant to be an end around parents, where they're trying to take parents out of the loop, as opposed to understanding. We used to teach in schools that family is the building block of society, of a healthy society, and so we put great priority on the family. Now we see a number of different initiatives in culture and government to work around it and to divide kids from parents and make kids kind of a ward of the state, so to speak. And so, some of this is going to be cultural, some of this is people getting back to church and and doing things like that. But from a government perspective, we've got to look at every sort of policy that begins to rip apart families and attack that. But certainly, there's a lot of protections that need to be made for us. Making sure that we protect kids and keep this kind of thing away from them. But a lot of this, like I said, I think it would actually be a big economic win for these businesses if they would just step into this game. I've tried, as my kids are growing up, to try to mess with the parental, protections and those kind of things. And sometimes you get for 50 clicks just to try to get a setting right on these sort of things. You almost have to have a minor degree. Most parents.
Oh my gosh, you're so right about this.
You spend hours trying to, and then you have one website that is related to the school. Anyway, it just ends up being impossible pragmatically to do it. And so parents are like, I can either spend half my time doing this. Of course, we try to make that a priority.
This is what's happening in the audience can judge me on this, but I have 4, and my oldest is 6, and he's takes after his mom, and he's smart. So he is, first grader, he's 3rd grade reading level. What can I say? He's a chip off the block, and he's getting a little more tech savvy, and now it's time for me to throw on all the parental controls. I don't even know how many apps I have now on my TVs and stuff. I don't even remember everything I subscribe to. I'm gonna have to go on one by one, figure it out, make sure it's applied to every single TV in the house and every single computer that you could potentially open up, and iPad, the closet, who even knows? I don't even know where they are. I mean, I've got old computers that I just don't want anyone else to have that are around, and because my work is somewhat top secret to some degree, and it's such a headache, and I don't know how many days it's going to take me to do this. I don't want to do it. I would rather just, here's your device, this is locked in, my device's passwords, and then we're done. And it's like 1 or 2 steps, it's over. People thought about it.
Just basically said, these are the contacts you can call. There's no internet on it. That would sell a gangbusters.
It really would. Me and you, we're going to invent it. Let's get in the ground floor. Anyone in the audience, aloha@alexmarlowe.com. Send me an email, congressmanlive. We've each got $100 invest for you. Congressman, Tim, give me your thoughts on Doge. We're so excited about this over here. Could this probably be the beginning of draining the swamp when we get this thing going?
I hope so, and I'm so thankful that this administration is taking this on, and then to bring in some savvy business leaders who had obvious success.
Fucking skull on the fucking.
And making great things happen on little resources. this is what Elon did with X is exactly what needs to happen to our federal government, where he went and fired 75% of the people, and we have a better plan for it. You know, we have these agencies that are well expanded their original intent. You know, their attitude when they address us as lawmakers is kind of like, we're permanent, you're elected, you're temporary, we'll do whatever we want. You know, if we like your policy, we'll help push it forward. If we don't, we're going to slow walk it. We certainly saw this where they were working against President Trump, and it's amazing what he got done in the first term with them all working against him. But this is a heavy weight on the American people as well. And, you know, for us to come in and we have the Government Accountability Office puts out a report of waste, fraud, and abuse every year. And basically we get done with it. We have a hearing and oversight. And like, you know, we all pick our favorite topic to talk about for 5 minutes, and then it seems like nothing gets done. I'm like, this should be kind of like the agenda for the entire term. But to even make that list, one of the parameters, it has different parameters that, you know, they look at, and one of them is your agency or program has to be wasting $1 billion. So as the federal government, you can make the case that we don't even start counting waste until it reaches $1 billion. This is a problem, I think, and one that needs to be corrected. So I'm super pumped. I mean, we have initiated legislation like the Sunset Commission, Federal Sunset Commission Act, and those kind of things to try to bring sensible governance to our government and push back on this growth that's happened over decades. But I'm really excited about what the administration can do. And like I started with, I just hope we'll have the wherewithal in Congress to support it.
Yeah, I hope so too. Congressman Michael Cloud from Texas at RepCloudTX on X, formerly known as Twitter. Congressman, appreciate you spending the time today. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you. We'll be right back. We'll wrap up with your calls.
This is Sirius XM Patriot. Our number, 866-957-2874. Catch us on social media at Sirius XM Patriot and at David Webb Show.
Listen live weekdays at 9 a.m. East on Sirius XM Patriot.
Wesley Financial Group is not an offer. An important message about your timeshare from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mouthpiece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. Contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about timeshare cancellation.
Call 800-978-1515. 800-978-1515.
Hello, I'm Mike Huckabee. President Trump has made history and is back in the White House. And your kids need to know what this means for their future and our country. That's why they need the Kids Guide to President Trump. This fun guide will teach your kids all about President Trump's accomplishments and his plan to save America and make it great again. And right now, I want you to have it for free. To order, visit kidswanttrump.com. That's kidswanttrump.com. Visit kidswanttrump.com now.
Hi, Todd Rampey here from Wealth Builders Institute. I teach people how to make money trading stock options. Of course, I can't guarantee you'll be wildly successful, just like I can't guarantee you'll be a giant failure. You see, it's up to you. If you have the desire, determination, and dedication, you can accomplish anything. And I don't believe anything offers the instant gratification of taking a successful trade. But first, you have to learn how to take only trades with the odds stacked in your favor, and also know how to avoid the snake oil in this business. My proprietary TSL stock options course is a step-by-step program that's like having a copy of a professional trader's playbook. Look, we trade the weekly options because of their incredible leverage, and I will prove to you that we know what we're doing by giving you my $500 3-lesson mini course video for free. Just call 800-881-5252 now to get your $500 video lesson for free. Actually, I'll also include a copy of my book, Get Paid, Learn to Trade, for a limited time. So call 800-881-5252. 800-881-5252. That's 800-881-5252.
Everyone's looking for lower scores. Don't waste time with swing aids or gimmicks when you can drop strokes guaranteed. Club Champion's fitting process dials in the perfect equipment for your unique swing. No matter your goal, the top-trained master fitters at Club Champion can help you get there. Use code DIALEDIN at clubchampion.com to get a full bag fitting for just $100. That's code DIALEDIN to get a full bag fitting for just $100 at Club
see. Why don't we speak with, how about Nick in Minnesota, line 40? What's up?
Hey, good to have you back, Alex. I got a quick question if you can answer. If you're one of the head of one of the three major news networks, why would you go to your crew and say, listen, we failed, we're going to go back to the days of Walter Cronkite, report the news as is, keep our bias out of it. If you did that, they would own the nightly news, lock, stock, and barrel for two reasons. A, people are starving for real news. Right now, I only listen for the weather and sports. And B, their propaganda campaign in the last 40 years has blown up in their face and they know it.
Man, that's just a great question. Thanks, Nick. Let me, I'm going to reply so you can, I'll let you run because I got a few things to say about this. First of all, it is a myth that the Walter Cronkite era was unbiased. He had his own biases. He really affected the outcome of the Vietnam War. And I think that there was no one else that was check and balance on him and others like him to say that actually this is bias, because there were so few voices out there, independent voices. There's no internet, there's no Twitter X, there's no way to. There's no writing a book like Breaking the News, my first book. So I think that's an interesting point to start from. I don't accept the premise that there really is neutral news. You can be neutral in terms of writing what key Tchaikovsky's violin concerto was in. I mean, you can do that in a neutral way, or what was the score of the Yankee game. But when it comes to American life, almost everything is political, and you can't trust most people to be completely apolitical. And so my approach, and I think this is the approach that is getting popularized, is you announce where your biases are from. You do your best to report things as you see them, which might be neutral or close to it, and then you can provide your opinion after that. I see the lens, I view America as a culture warrior. And when you're listening to me, or you're talking to me in the neighborhood, or you're reading something that I wrote, you know that's in the back of my head with everything I do. I live and breathe it, and just know that when I come into the show, I'm trying to present the news, 100% accurately. That's my commitment to you, that I want to do that, and that's what we want to do at Breitbart. But I'm not going to lie to you and act like my viewpoint is not a perspective from someone who is part of the MAGA, Judeo-Christian political right. I am. So, and that's where we're, I think, netting out, because you see the surge in popularity of podcasts, for example, where you get a host perspective along with your news. You see the fact that the only things that seem to be working on cable TV are people who are doing sort of opinion news, commentary simultaneously. And this has been an interesting development, because I, like caller Nick, lamented that we did not have a truly neutral media, even though they claim to be neutral. And I was hoping the solution would be to kind of scare them into being neutral. But it's not really what it's turning out to be. It's really much more similar to the way we've always been at Breitbart, which is we will give you the news, but we're going to acknowledge our perspective. And I think that's really working. What's not working is the people who do the fake neutrality, like what you see from all of our establishment newspapers, like the LA Times. They act like they're neutral, but they're not. That's not working. But what is working is the Tucker Carlsons of the world, or the Joe Rogans of the world, or the people that have all these successful shows where they're giving you their perspective along with the news. So, and that's what we've always done at Breitbart. It's what Andy Breitbart always wanted, and I think Mike and the team are doing a great job at Breitbart News Daily. All right, you guys know where to find me. Thanks for going to Breitbart.com, subscribing to the Breitbart Fight Club, our premium membership program. Yeah, we have amazing content for you. Just dozens and dozens of interviews if you sign up that I've done that you get immediate access to. Deep information, and that's today's show. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks for listening.
Imagine the joy of unwrapping a beautifully packaged selection of prime steaks. Get the gift that sizzles this holiday season with mouth-watering steaks from The Lynch Shop. We've got the perfect present for every meat lover on your list, from an array of aged USDA prime steaks, roasts, seafood, and more. The Lynch Shop is an extension of Meats by Lynn's, which started as a small family-owned butcher shop and is now the premier meat purveyor, providing their world-renowned Black Angus beef to the finest steakhouses. Give your loved ones, friends, and colleagues a gift that is sure to fill their stomach and their heart. Spread holiday cheer with a gift of premium beef at thelinzshop.com. That's the LINZ shop.com. Plus, order now and enjoy 20% off with code SERIOUS. Brought to you by The Linz Shop, the steaks of legendary steakhouses worldwide since 1963. Visit the LINZ shop.com and use code SERIOUS for an extra 20% off. Sometimes numbers are important. Ours is 50,000. At CertaPro Painters, we proudly have over 50,000 five-star painting reviews. That means everything to us. For over 30 years, CertaPro Painters have earned the trust of customers like you because we treat all painting projects with the quality and care they deserve. Call the professionals at CertaPro for a first-class painting experience for your home or your business. We're locally owned and operated, so every job has a personal touch. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro. Visit CertaPro.com today. Each local CertaPro Painters is independently owned and operated.
Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com.
Legal immigration.
The Second Amendment.
Conservative principles live here.
We are
Sirius XM Patriot, Channel 125.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. If you'll be going somewhere far from home for Thanksgiving, looks like you'll have lots of company.
See, the traffic is
The
terrific.
Thanksgiving holiday travel rush is expected to break records this year. AAA is predicting that nearly 80 million people will venture forth, most of them by car, exceeding pre-pandemic numbers.
Thanksgiving is the busiest travel holiday of all.
AAA spokeswoman Aixa Diaz.
Wednesday afternoon is pretty brutal, but now also Tuesday afternoon is pretty bad too.
Transportation analytics company INREX says coming home, the best time to avoid crowded highways will be Sunday before 1 p.m. and very early or late in the day on Monday. I'm Jennifer King.
And this probably couldn't come at a more inconvenient time. A walkout this morning at North Carolina's Charlotte Douglas International Airport.
Service workers announced they would go on strike for 24 hours starting at 5 a.m. during a busy week of Thanksgiving travel, protesting what they call unlivable wages. They work for two companies that contract with American Airlines. They provide services like cleaning interiors of the planes, removing trash, and escorting passengers in wheelchairs.
That's correspondent Leah Skeen. The Senate gearing up for confirmation hearings for President-elect Trump's cabinet nominees now that Mr. Trump has finished selecting his nominees. It is a diverse group. It includes former Democrats as well as traditional elected Republicans, offering a range of ideological views. In the words of former House Speaker Newt Gingrich, a strong cabinet by definition means you're going to have people with different opinions and different skills. On Wall Street this morning, stock futures have been in positive territory all morning long. The Dow futures up 374 points.
5+ is designed to fill in those gaps and help protect you from rising healthcare costs. At only $99 per month up to age 75, you get peace of mind at a price you can afford. And MediShare is trusted, too. It's been around 30 years. It's not some big impersonal thing. It's a community of people helping each other. Business owners, pastors, retirees. People love it. MediShare 65+ just makes sense. To learn more, give them a call. They're great to talk to. They'll offer to pray with you each time you call, too. Call now. 855-PSALM-32. That's 855-PSALM-32. 855-PSALM-32.
Russian media say a British national is under arrested while fighting for Ukraine.
Russia's state news agency TASS says a British national, James Scott Rice Anderson, has been captured while fighting alongside Ukrainian troops in the Kursk region of Russia, which is partially occupied by Ukrainian forces. TASS quotes him as saying He had served as a signalman in the British Army for 4 years, and then joined the International Legion of Ukraine. Anderson reportedly served as an instructor for Ukrainian troops and was deployed to the Kursk region against his will. If confirmed, it would be the first publicly known case of a Western national captured on Russian soil while fighting for Ukraine. I'm Charles Villavesma.
Egyptian officials say at least 17 people missing after a tourist yacht sank in the Red Sea. The Red Sea regional government says rescuers saved 28 people from the vessel. Some were airlifted to receive medical treatment. News and analysis, townhall.com.
Truth is the authority. All right, first thing, bring your A game because I'll take nothing less. We're going to have an open and honest discussion, but the facts matter. Let's talk about the people. It's common sense. It's principles and policies that work for everybody. I just want to talk about how to fix this country. The David Webb Show. Just in simple terms, very simple terms when it comes to the Biden. And yes, even though is she really back from vacation? But the Biden-Harris administration, the Democrat Party, the D.C. establishment, some of them Republicans, the elitists from all sides, the special interests, yes, them too, all those thrown. All the people not working for you, but, well, really for themselves while claiming to work for you. They're not serious after the election of 2024. Matter of fact, many of them, especially in the Democrat Party, are woke. The results of the election, again, did not wake them up to the realities that, well, we Americans face. We all face it, regardless of age, regardless of ethnicity, sometimes even more dangerously in certain areas in America, and more. Look at migrant murders that have put many communities around America in danger, in areas that maybe people once felt safe. But yes, that's just the reality you face. You think that would be a top concern for the administration, but no, they've decided to relax the regulations, to come up with a new way between now and January 20th to let new illegal aliens cross into our nation under the guise, in some cases, the guise of being actually legitimately allowed into the country. And speaking of the election, well, it was very gut-wrenching, pearl-clutching, if not more, for many in Washington, D.C. Certainly in the somewhat 66,000 plus person State Department, where they had in-house therapy sessions after Donald Trump won the election. And therapists, cry sessions were reportedly involved, so they could process what had just happened. They could just process what you, the American people, did when you cast your ballot freely as a citizen of the United States. When you rejected the leftist lurch, the elitist lurch, the ongoing attempts to grow this behemoth called government at the expense of the people. How dare you? And so they called in their therapists. I guess Kamala Harris, or is it Kamala? Am I still working on that, guys? Kamala. Anyway, the vice president, who's about as missing as the adult president, disappeared. Maybe she needed a therapy session in Hawaii. You know, after a grueling 107 days on the campaign trail, raising over $1 billion, $20 million in debt, it was a grueling experience for the former, current, is she still the board of I'm not talking about Tom Homan, who will be an actual real border czar. I'm talking about Kamala Harris. We're going to get into more about that in the third hour. Great guest. And of course, one of the new fights that begins, speaking of not just the border, but that and much more, Doge. It's becoming a word. It's become a thing. And now, according to MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who will chair the subcommittee to take a look at government programs, contracts, and employees, these sanctuary cities and states should explain to Doge why they deserve federal money. She will work with Elon and Vivek and other members of the Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency. Is it going to be a noun or a verb? Because you can't dodge Doge. But have you been Doge? Remember Google? Google became a thing, a noun and a verb. So now we Google, or we're using the infinitive form, Googling. So are you doged? And what's your taking care of? Have you been doged? But anyway, the Department of Government Efficiency. How to cut spending. Big issue. Lots of low-hanging fruit. We went over that in detail last week because how dare Elon and Vivek lay out the plan? How dare they cite the constitutional ability? How dare they lay this all out for you to hear? That there are actually Supreme Court decisions that allow them to go in and cut government waste, federal overspending, that they could actually take out some $500 billion in the low-hanging fruit right off the top, I guess the bottom if it's low-hanging fruit. And yes, there will be legal battles and more. The ACLU and other groups are lining up. They're already running ads that we're coming for you. Government is coming for you. But no, they're not serious. They're woke. The results of the election did not wake them up. And they don't care about your reality. Watching MSNBC this morning, you know one of the great things about today's television? You can put up 4 or 6 different channels and you can watch them. That's what I have in the studio. And whether it's Al Sharpton, Morning Joe and Nika, who went to meet with Trump, who managed to piss off all of their colleagues in the media. Like, how? Well, first of all, why did you decide to meet with Hitler? Why did you decide it's okay this time to meet with Hitler? Because Hitler won the election. Or the fascists, or the whites, whichever is or ism or other name you caricature Donald Trump as, and anybody who supports him for that matter, including the Neanderthals from Texas. They went to meet with them. But they were right back at it this morning. It was actually an absolute joy to watch them melt down. It was an absolute joy to watch them sit there, including some of the very members of the intelligence apartheid that wrote and signed when Blinken wrote, or whoever crafted in whatever group or committee, the letter signed by 51 intelligence officials about the threat that Tulsi Gabbard poses to you, to the nation, to the world. The same people told you Russian stories, really no Russian disinformation. They're back. They never